let's see, we're starting a bit late today because I was figuring out how to finally solve the issue with our streaming software where it didn't pick up Photoshop's canvas. But I figured it out. I finally did it. It turns out it was a very simple solution, but we just never looked into it before. So now I can finally just have OBS capture my Photoshop window as opposed to all the other windows. We're getting more and more professional by the day. So anyway, today is Sunday, and you know what that means. It's time for another art stream. And let's see, today we're gonna do art for a thing. Oh, I forgot to mute my Twitch thing because there we go. Okay, pause. Got you. Alright, got it. So anyway, it'll be pretty laid back today. Just generally doing art stuff. So there's in the final card document, there's a new level 3 robot that we had space for. So it goes into the 4th deck, the Stellar Ascent deck there, which is a deck of sort of just like 10 combined robots that just kind of serve as a supplement to the rest of the game. They have like a few level 2s, a few level 2s, a few level 3s, and some level 4s and 2 level 5s. And that's what the Stellar Ascent box is. A Stellar Ascent deck is. I believe the 3 level 2, so there's 2 level 2s or 3 level 2s or something. Which is 1 yellow. Let's see if I can do this without looking at the spreadsheet. So the 3 level 3s are, there's an AEI and a EIS, because they don't exist on any of the pre-existing 8 teams that we're giving you in the box. So those 2 are in there, and then we're going to do, through process of elimination, we're doing a second AEG robot. So there'll be 11 level 3 robots in the game. A second level 3, a second AEG robot, because the only other AEG robot in the game at the moment is Excelgon, which is Atwell's personal robot. And just for the sake of having, and you can only make it if you're using Atwell and really specific stuff. So we want to have a more neutral, easy to use level 3, just for the sake of the game being a little bit more broad with what combined robots you use. There will be no level 2s or 3s that are just commander specific anymore. There used to be, the only EI type in the game currently is Ixa's level 2, Esperiza. We're putting a second EI type in the game for that. So you can make a more neutral team, and then we have 3 level 4s that are already made that are going into the Stellar Ascent box that already have like art and everything done. So we have the AEGS, the AEIS, and the AEGI. So those 3 are in, and then we have 2 Aegis robots. We have Arc, Infinity, and Arrows L Ball. So those are the 2 level 5 robots. And that makes for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and yeah, that's what I thought. So there's 2, and there's 2 level 2s. And those will be an IS and an ES, I believe. Here's what we have been testing. That's that. So that's that deck. They had so the guys that we're actually testing right now are this one, and this one. And then we're doing continuous testing on level 5s. Because we want those to be super cool. Level 4s are in a pretty much good spot. They're fine. Just like, these guys are good. These guys probably need a little bit more testing. The AEI one's pretty good. It like works. He works pretty straightforward. We're still working out the EIS a little bit. We have like a design for him, but he's on like iteration 3. Okay. Anyway, so the last guy to be designed is this AEG robot, though, because originally we were going to put another EGS robot in, but it ultimately just made more sense to put in another AEG. So I'll put that second EGS robot in somewhere, some other time eventually. That's what this guy is. So I have a giant grid of concepts for level 3 robots, and this is the one that I like the most out of all the AEG robots that I've sketched. And he looks kind of like, he's got rocket fists, like actual fists that are rockets. That's pretty cool, right? So he's very, very different from Excelgon. Excelgon is more of like, he's a giant flying A-type thing, and he has a shield that comprises that's mainly his G-type component. He has a shield and he has like a piercing attack, which is mechanically G, even though his piercing attack is totally a giant sword. This guy will be probably more centered around being like a bomber, and less of a like ridiculous acrobatic melee guy with the defensive ability. This guy will be more of a flying tank, and we're going to explore that aspect of an AEG. And we know exactly, through looking at all the makes in the game, we know exactly what type of robot that he's going to be. So it's not really important that we have his mechanics designed yet, because there's only like 2 real options for an AEG robot in the core set to make it fit nicely, and it's like an AB or an ELL. And ELL fits the most in terms of a guy that's easiest to make with the combines that we're giving, with the other like level 2 combines and level 1s that we're giving you in the box. ELLs are pretty prevalent. Yeah. So let's see, what is this guy? And it should be noted that I have fraction files. We'll pull up another, because let's pull up one of the ELLs. There's a few ELLs here. And we also have a level 4 with an ELL and a level 5 with an ELL. So this actually goes right into, this is actually a great idea. So you'll be able to make those higher level robots much easier if you bridge through this one. So it's kind of the one of the other ideas behind that. Let's see, is this picking up this folder? It isn't. Okay, so it actually only picks up one Photoshop window, which is fine. Control T. So this level 3 robot would basically be an evolved version of this guy I affectionately call Derpy Dragon. Yeah, like a lot of the ELLs look like they just like bumble through this guy. They have like almost Bumblebee-ish. Oh, hey. Now I can also check the chat without bringing it up on the stream, so that's nice. Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Kaylor and Bryfox and Fun Size and Scott. Let's see. Mechanics question. You still have the matching type of the previous level lineup, right? A level 2 AI that has an arc needs to be made with a level 1 arc, yes. There are only limited paths to get to level 5. Yeah, pretty much. There's particular limited paths to get to level 5s. There's one level 5 is the Arc Infinity, and he's not very stringent. It's just like the A type that makes him needs to be made from an arc. Oh no, I see what you're saying. No, you don't need to have a level 2 arc to make the Arc Infinity. You can have an arc plus an EI and a GS or something, or an EGI. So an arc plus an EGI can make like one of our level 3 guys. I mean one of our level 4 guys, and then you add an S to him, and then you get to the E, then you get to Arc Infinity. And also, if you make the actually this isn't even hypothetical. If you make the Excel gun, right? And which is an AEG robot. It needs an Excel and a gun. But if you use an arc for the A type, Excel gun still counts as an arc. It's like parentheses arc Excel gun. Because when you combine robots together, you stack the cards on top of each other, and basically your combined robots count for every name that's in that stack. So Excel gun that's partially an arc can merge within whatever it is, an IS type, to become Arc Infinity. And so there's like it's pretty easy to make the level 5s overall. The Aerozel Sol needs 3 specific names, but we actually designed around that. So like there's a bunch of level 2s and level 3s that were made specifically to make the Aerozel Sol go into it. Which is why we have like level 2 ELL and then level 3 arrows and stuff. Actually, it's made specifically. If you take the level 3 arrows and level 2 ELL, you can kind of pretty much just go right into Aerozel Sol. And so that's the level 5 robots and level 4 robots are not as hard to make as they seem in terms of like name requirements. That is a thing. Anyway, this guy is gonna be ELL probably 4,000, I think. Yeah, 4,000. And there's like a complex naming convention behind that, but it's kind of irrelevant. So yeah, I really liked this guy's overall shape and form. Watch as I just try to remake him and draw him, and what I'm gonna end up doing, and I'm just calling it 20 minutes ahead of time, is I'm gonna end up scrapping my sketch, and I'm just gonna enlarge this guy and start drawing over him. I also don't have any idea how to pose that guy. He's kind of unposable. He's just like buzz. I could do something with his legs, but like the giant heavy arms probably have to do the thing where they just like hang there. Nah, probably not. I mean, you can make him look like a boxer. And also just make it look a little bit more like this level 2 too, so maybe I'll add like this thing on top. I like this one too because it also kind of has like a sense of scale to it. It's huge. Let's see. Spider Arc! Give him a shrug. Chris is here. Hello, Gurgles. Everyone say hello to Hergelman, and make sure to tune into his podcast. Hergelbergy. Plug your podcast into the chat. Let's see here. So, see, how big is a person compared to this? A tiny man standing on his wing. About how big I picture these level 3s to be. They're about, it's a little too big. They're probably like, they're probably a little bit more like this. Because level 5s are about that big. They're like about the size of Gundams. And level 3s are sizable. So it's probably more like that. Somebody standing on top of it. Maybe a little smaller. Being pedantic. Yeah. So it's like, kind of like that. This guy's also gonna have, I wonder if he's gonna end up having like a pretty similar silhouette to, there's level 4 that has this like 90-degree angle wing thing, so I'm gonna do something cooler with the wings. It's kind of shaped like an ice cream cone with wings and rocket fists. It's also one of the things I like about this guy is that we can finally put rocket fists into the game. Except his fists are actually rockets. And I think that's pretty cool. Basically, just scrap everything and start drawing Spider Arc. That should be the commander variant for Einer. It should actually just be Spider Arc. Idea for this. Because like one of the things about AEG types is that kind of like supposed to have like bird legs, because it's only when you combine with an S type that you get the Gundam legs. So like all AEG types are kind of just, I have them all have like scaffolding or bird legs. How's Scott, how's your new job going? I know you started that a few weeks ago. Yeah, this concept art on the side is actually pretty old. I can't even remember when I did them. But there was just like a time where and luckily I did it because it's helping me in the future, and like I knew it would. But yeah, I did a bunch of concept art for a whole ton of level 3s, and definitely helping. Some of them are more viable than others. Like there was 2 that we had to choose from. I do have concept art for the level 3 AEG AB, but decided against it. It does look really cool though. Eventually you'll see it in the art book maybe. And I'll probably end up being a robot eventually because the design's pretty sick. Have the existing robot. I'm gonna run into this usual problem that I have when drawing missiles, into trying to make them not look incredibly phallic. It's like surprisingly difficult. Even when I look at like reference images for rockets and missiles and stuff, it's surprisingly difficult. Our intern had a very great nickname for this robot, which I cannot repeat on stream. One of the other cool things about this guy is that he actually has his turbines like on his back like this, and he kind of has like these giant like vortexes I guess it kind of probably blows out like underneath his arms to keep him afloat. Because that's how physics works, right? Scott's an aeroscience. He can tell me how these robots fly. Phallic missiles. No, that's fine. I mean, I haven't actually commissioned Steven to do anything yet. I was just talking about that at our weekly meeting today. It's like I also really like my personal art style. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but you got to acknowledge where you're weak, and I can't do colors as good as Steven can. And plus, let's see, so we're gonna have like quite a few copies of this game to move after the initial shipment, and I don't think we'll have a trouble moving them, but I feel like the idea is that having really fancy, nice art will help to appeal, and that's, you know, pretty much why every game and product ever does nice art. But regardless, I think his main art is any art that Steven does will be for level 5s anyway, and I really want those to be sparkly and special. So we don't actually have him doing any drawing from scratch. We pretty much just hand him existing art, and he does paint overs. I would like him to clean up some of my line art though. I think one of the ideas that I had with this guy is that he has like Strike Witch's legs. He has like propellers on his ankles that help keep him up. I'm glad that you like my art though. It's very encouraging. Never in my life would I've actually imagined that my art was worth any money, but apparently it is. I keep like big elephant head that he has. It's pretty neat. The L gel. The other is we could actually make this guy named the L gel, but I'm not making that decision yet. We'll have to actually see if that's needlessly restrictive. But man, I really want a robot called L gel. That's like been a thing for years. It's just like, oh man, I want a robot called the L gel. But mostly because it's like L's and gels do really similar things. Originally the level 2L, this guy was named L gel, but we made him easier to create, and so we just made him the L2000 instead. But maybe this guy can be the L gel. But that's a design thing and less of an aesthetic thing. Because yeah, L's fire missiles, gel's fire missiles, they're like best friends. Like a level 3 or a level 4 robot that fires missiles. Like perfect. And it can also make it look like a colossal guinea pig. Turns out that the problem with Photoshop that I was having, where it wouldn't render in OBS and my broadcasting software, because I had like one thing checkboxed in the preferences, and that sounds about right. Technology hashtag. This week I didn't forget to turn the music on either. It's very good. I'm on the ball, aside from starting 30 minutes late. I also kind of like how the wings, I like how in that art, I like how the missiles kind of feel like they're dangling straight down from like the wings or whatever. So there'll probably be like some kind of assembly below the wings. Keeps them up. Ooh, coolie. The tech failure is coming, you can't escape it. Freestyle art. I did the art for the level 5s, like, God, like, a long time ago. I could probably do better now, but man, they were such a huge pain to draw. There's like a lot. I put a lot more detail into them than the original, than most of the other art in the game, because like they just demanded it. And let's see if I can dig one up. Like we pretty much throw Arc Infinity on everything, like in terms of branding. Like he's behind our logo sometimes, so you might have seen him, but not in this detail. Overall, I like how this guy came out, but I'm willing to throw the very marginal amount of money at Steven to see if he can give it the razzmatazz. Like, this guy's good. I actually like this guy. He was also a thing where I forgot to do line art, so he's actually like painted on like one layer. Because I did a sketch, and then I just decided to render the sketch until it was done, kind of like I did with the Arc 150 a few moons ago. And then I did the opposite with the Aerosol Sol, where I did do like the usual like 15 layers of madness, where I have like line art and base colors and shadows and darker shadows and lighter shadows, and it's like the whole thing. And I don't even really like how the art came out. So it's like, ugh. Like I can't, if I spend all my time polishing the art that I don't like, then this game won't hit shelves until 2024. So but in terms of like the higher tier robot art that I would have redone a little bit, I might actually ask Mong to redo the Aerosol Sol art, because he's proven in the past where I can actually, it's actually pretty cool. One of the first, I'll have to dig up his art test. I'm gonna probably include his art test in the art book, because it's really cool. The first time that Mong applied to help out with art in the game, I had to make up an art test specifically for him, because he was like just so head and toes above everybody else in terms of like his design talent. So I actually just like, I gave him like 5 pictures of, I gave him 5 level 1 robots, like just dragged and dropped them, and I'm like, combine these into a Megazord. And he's like, and I'm like, yeah, like design me a Megazord using these robots, and I want the robot, it obviously has to look like it's made from these 5 robots. So I can do the same thing with Aerosol Sol, where I can give him the arrows and the Sol and the L, and I can just probably be like, yo, design me the sweetest looking robot you can, made up of these. Well, this robot is pretty straightforward design though, which is good. Sweet dreams. He's kind of like Vulture-ish. Yeah, this guy. Recognize minority. It definitely wants to be enjoying the hell out of the game. And you can dream, can he? Darn right he can. Ugh. Yeah, the hologram circle thing was actually funny. So I drew the Arc Infinity, and when I was drawing him, I for the life of me couldn't figure out how to incorporate aspects of an Intel robot into him. During the original sketch, he had like floaty bits around him, kind of like one of the orbital frames from Zone of the Enders. He had like yeah, he had kind of like little floaty bits that it looked like he could launch out and attack with, but I couldn't get them to look right at all when I was rendering the robot. And I like I tried his like elbows being connected together with like a giant like chain thing, kind of like one of those swords where the handles are put together with a chain or rope or something. Like that guy, the guy from Bleach, who has the white hair and AIDS. He has a sword. He has a pair of swords like that. So I tried that, and I tried making the rope flow behind him to like make an infinity symbol, and that was like a waste of a few hours back when I was drawing him. I couldn't get that to look right. Eventually, it's like I was looking at the arrows Elsaw, which has like the giant sun behind it, and I'm like, you know, maybe like it can be like a level 5 thing for level 5s to have like a big floaty thing on their backs. And I think that's probably pretty cool. So I did that, and that's kind of like his I-type representation, is having like, yeah, the floaty ring hologram. Because the rest of him is like, he's like a giant A-type with like an S-type laser for one arm, and he has like some turbines and stuff, and like propeller feet for like the E-type. He has like some big green thigh pauldrons, that's the thing I'll coin. He has some green thigh pauldrons to like obviously show that he's a G-type. But yeah, I wanted something really distinctly I-type to come through. I like how the hologram circle turned out. Let's see, how did you guys like the update the other day? It is like a little bit overdue delivering it, because it's pretty much a pattern at this point where instead of doing bite-sized updates, I end up just waiting too long because nothing seems ready enough to update, and then I end up writing something that's like novel length through the update. I want to say that we'll try to improve and just make more frequent, smaller updates, because that was always the idea, but who knows if that will actually happen. Like, I'm very tied up making the game, so we're doing updates every 2 weeks might be difficult. But it'll be especially easier once we're in heavy game design stuff right now, so once we get into like refining the graphic design and getting stuff from the manufacturer to show off, that's gonna be cool. And I can like update all the time. But it's like when we're doing game design stuff, like, hello, we made a new ability for Stell on accident. Not really on accident, but it's like we're in the very experimental processes right now without blowing up the game. Speaking of, I know I said this last week, but this week we should have the last 2 backer commanders. Actually, funny how difficult those guys are being. We actually, prior to last week, we were testing those 2 on Tuesday. We do playtest sessions on like Tuesday. As we were testing out the new the A commander and the S commander, and yeah, they're close to getting there. We have like 8 iterations of the A one at this point. The other ones came a lot easier. Like the Damage Redirection Bro and Luxiana. Like Luxiana, I'm very proud of, because that was almost a brain to paper sort of design. I was just like, what if she did this? And then I thought up the wording and then it kind of just worked in playtesting and it worked good on stream. Doesn't seem exceptionally underwhelming or overwhelming. She has a lot of build potential, so that's like good. Wish everyone would be as easy to design as Luxiana. And like the backer was super chill with it. He's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And I'm like, "Cool." Yeah, damage redirection guy is really just more. His design's fine. I think his design's fine. It's gonna be like balancing thing, so we're gonna probably move some numbers around on him, I think. And who's the other guy that we tested? Vadis. Oh, Vadis is probably fine too. Vadis is interesting because he's probably, out of all the commanders, he probably has like the least text on his card, but he's also simultaneously one of the most complex because his commander ability is like you can choose, have like 10 options at the start of the game for his commander ability. And like, I think it's really good though because we don't have a lot of, we have some commanders that are like very, very positioning based, but he's definitely like the most positioning based commander for people who definitely just like that play style of, I like to know where things are on the board, and I'm very good at keeping track of things of where things are on the board. That's like a good thing that we've included for that style of player. And then, like, control players in general. It's coming along pretty alright. And yeah, like if you saw the two robots in the stream, no, not the stream, the two new robots in the update, we have settled on the red guy is an ab. So his abs are cool. Who doesn't love abs? He's gonna be punch commander. He's gonna be different from Einer though. He has quite a different gimmick than Einer does. Where Einer's commander gimmick is that he's a good robot, and you just play him because he's kind of strong. He has some free value on him. Whereas this guy will be more team based. Steven. Vatis, I'm sorry. This is by far the most transparent Kickstarter I've ever seen. That's good. So yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I know that thank you for that. I'm happy that you're happy with our transparency, because that's something that I'm always worried about. It's like, it's like such a fine line where it's like I want to be transparent, but I don't want to be so transparent where it's like you see how the sausage is made. But yeah, we're doing our best. You're seeing a lot of how the sausage is made. What was I gonna say? Oh man, I had something that I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what I was, blah blah blah. I'm glad that we're doing the Discord thing. I'm glad that we're able to interact with you guys directly on the Discord, which is really cool. And I know not every backer is on the Discord, so it's good that the people who really super care about the game have immediate access to us, and I think that's really important. And I hope that that is enough. Like, I don't want people who don't fall. I don't want to fall. I don't want to kind of get lulled into like just because like you know like the awesome dudes like Fox and Scott and Reggie and Steve are up to date with us all the time. I don't want to leave the other ones and the other like 600 people in the dust. And then, like 5 months from now, we get like some random person or group of people who are like, "You guys haven't shared enough with us. I'm very pissed about some XYZ that you're doing," and I'm like, "Oh crap, we forgot to update these guys because we've been so complacent with the amount of information that we've been giving out." But yeah, everyone pretty adamant about anyone who wants to talk to me or any of the development team at any time has the ability to do so. It's like it's your money. And I'm sure most of the people have very good faith that we'll just deliver. But anyone who ever has any questions has access to us. Do. Eventually we're gonna make the sausage 100. Well, it's the best. We have a lot of lore lined up for Commander Steven. But at the same time, I hope the backer will pick a different name. He actually said we have in the most recent correspondence, he said we have free reign to do what works for the game. Because it's his friend. The idea is his friend named Steven wants an awesome character named after him. I'm like, that's cool. We actually came up with some pretty funny. Steven the Commander is probably the most unintentionally hilarious character in the game. Where he's so it's like he's like the most sinister and serious of any character in the game, but also really funny. Where we kind of picture, in my head, he's like the Grand Galactic Inquisitor from Venture Brothers. I don't know if I said this on the stream last week, but he just like appears. He's like, "I am the Grand Galactic Inquisitor of the Iris Dominion. Ignore me." He's just he knows all, he sees all. Is extremely menacing, but is also like a 9-foot tall man. He never gave his name out, so everyone has a different name for him. In particular, I think in universe, Gamoon will just start calling him Steven. It'll stick. I think regardless of what the name is, I still want. I'm still pretty sure we're gonna have the lore be that Gamoon calls him Steven no matter what his final name is. So as kind of a nod to both the backer and because it's really funny. I am the Grand Galactic Inquisitor. Hey, Dr. Payne! Wow, that was a weird one. You can read my mind too now? Yes. Let's see here. Overall, yeah, I'm very happy with all the new commander characters. I think we've done a good job at merging them in the universe, and I can't wait. If you ever make some sweet expansions for the game, I can't wait to bring some of them back. Because I already have kind of like subplots lined up for most of them, and how they'll come into play in the future. Like I have the story for this game, and it's like I have like roughly planned out into 3 major arcs. So like this is the first box is like obviously like the first arc, and it's about Einar and these guys, and every major arc will follow a different set of 5 of commanders from the 5 main nations is the idea. I have like the second set of 5 already in my head, and we actually have art for them in places. And then the third set of 5 is also planned in my head. And it's just important that over the course of these 3 arcs, we just need to make sure we hit revealing all of the level 5 robots, all 7 of the main ones at least, and stuff. Top secret lore. And also, AEGIS won't end until there's a commander for each letter of the alphabet either, which is also important. So right now we have actually quite a few. 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 17 commanders, or 16. Yeah, we have 16 commanders of the 16 different letters. We actually only have... We have 10 more slots for neutral commanders. And then the main character 5 nation commanders, they'll recur probably by the end of the game. By the quote-unquote end of the game, if this game has like an end. I'm thinking about it kind of like as in terms of it's like a TV series at this moment. But if the game has like an end, we'll have like probably around 4-ish people that have an A name, and like 4-ish people who have an E name, etc. And you guys who are listening to this stream right now, you are the ones privy to this information. And all 7 people who will watch this stream and video on demand also are privy to this information. You are the chosen few. Because you are the ones who care. Yeah, Diane Diane's the D commander, Rios is the R commander, Poppet is the P commander. So there will never be another commander that starts with a D, an R, or a P. That is the scheme that we have designed. Then we have then we have Jerlon, Luxiana, Latisse, taking up those letters, where the new G commander has a G name, so he's actually came up with some great lore for the new G commander the other day. So anyone with a G name has to be directly involved with the Great States or whatever, as like a major character. So Gamoon was only recently promoted as the West Border General. So the Tiger Brothers, Guapo and Gordo are their names now, not Hutton and Harker, but Guapo and Gordo, which means H has freed up. So who will the H commander be in the future? Will it be Hager? Yeah, Guapo and Gordo are the original people who managed the West Border before they either got fired or quit to go pursue a life of junk finding. So I guess that's why they're explains like they're extremely talented pilots. But yeah, they had Gamoon's job before Gamoon took it over. And then Sheridan, who's the new S commander, is the basically the mayor of. She's like the leader of the sector authority's lower half, like the less important half. Like the sector authority has two main sections. There's the space part and then the islands. So Sheridan is actually a kind of a major character in that she's like one half of a president. And you'll see how that comes into play later. Then there's Micah the Red, Cal, Steven, Sindane, and Nolan, who are the other consonant commanders. Because in Aegis land, AEGINS are the vowels. In Aegis land, we don't acknowledge O and U as vowels, they're consonants. Much like they don't have the wheel on Sagaya. Their perception of vowels is specifically AEGINS. Marif? Is the Marif? Guado and here, let me type that in. Guapo and Gordo. Or you can honestly, you can just call them the Tiger Brothers. Did I say Marif? Oh, mayor. She's like the mayor, sheriff. Yeah, I guess that's a good title for her. She can be the Marif. Yeah, I know, sacrilege. Well, the idea is that we want the neutral commanders to feel a little bit more special. It was weird. It was a weird side effect to having. We had 8 commanders in the box. We had 5 main characters and 3 neutral characters. That was like the good breakdown. And then we accidentally added 10 commanders to the box. Whoops. So instead of having 5 main characters and then 13 side characters, and running the risk of the main characters actually being the least relevant, we wanted to try like maybe get more like 50-50. So the Tiger Bros are now neutral, but we're actually still working out the lore in accordance with this. But or maybe they're not neutral. I'm figuring it out. Kind of mechanically relevant. But yeah, the idea is that they're either left or quit or got fired or something, or they are just on a different assignment from the Great States based on what they're doing now. You know, more like government contractors. They got caught up. They probably have their current jobs because the Great States got mired in bureaucracy and they also promoted the wrong people to their position. Maybe that'll just be maybe that's going to be an ongoing pattern with Great States commanders, is that they all ended up in their jobs via bureaucratic nightmare. And or clerical error. And then eventually we'll start introducing we had one good idea back when somebody, either Reggie or Scott, had the concept of a G-type commander from like the Sector Authority or whatever, or it was just like a G-type commander in general, and one of the ideas for that character was the person who was supposed to get Gamoon's job, except that Gamoon got instead via clerical error. So I think we'll like keep exploring concepts like that for G commanders, where they either ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time via bureaucracy. Whereas the next few E commanders are all going to be like various heirs to the throne in the royal family. And that'll be the pattern with them. I don't think any of the other places have patterns really. The Sector Authority commanders are all going to be kind of part of the police force-ish, except for Sheridan. Because that's the other thing too. Sheridan's an S-aligned commander, but she's actually not part of the Sector Authority, like police state. She's like just kind of like the mayor of where all the normal people live. Whereas Stell from like their military sector. So it's interesting to explore different aspects of countries that way. Vatis. That's the thing. How do I get this guy into a cool pose? You know, there is a art by Emerson Tongue I saw on Twitter the other day that had a robot that's kind of like this. Kind of was similar, like military design. It had like chicken legs and looked more like a bomber. The tops are a little out of place. Leg propellers, calf thrusters would be cooler. How could you not be a fan of the leg propellers? Oh yeah, and then we ended up putting the AoE heal onto this new S-type commander, actually. At least I think that's what she's gonna be with. We'll see. I might actually, depending on her nuke, we have like yet another concept for her commander ability. And maybe an AoE heal isn't that pertinent or good on her anymore. We'll figure it out in playtesting. Emerson Tongue Tank Head. Let me look up a ref real quick, because this guy is similar to... Oh my god, Emerson Tongue is so good. If anyone's ever looked at his robot art, it's only a little good, in that he's probably one of the best robot artists alive right now. He did one the other day. It was like a flying bomber robot. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, Jethead. This is really cool. And that loads, I'll paste it in the chat. Like, this thing is so cool. One of these days, Emerson Tongue will do art for AEGIS, hopefully. But he's like insane. And like all of his art. He's very like, I think he's one of those artists that really probably I think he probably started off as like an industrial designer. And that's where he got such a good grasp of like form and mechanical stuff. Kind of like how Feng Zhu did. But yeah, his robot art is really cool. Actually, while I was looking through Google Images, I saw he made a robot toilet, and it looked really neat. So yeah, guy has kind of a similar aesthetic to what I was going for with this guy. So it's like big upper body, chicken legs, figure out how to incorporate some bomber stuff. I might also push the... Do I push this design to Mong and have him do it? I guess that's also the question. It's like... Every time I look at like something like Emerson Tongue's art, I'm like, my art's not dynamic enough. So I have like the rough design, and let's see if I can put him in like an actual... I'll probably put him in like a similar pose to this Jethead guy. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Whoops. The other issue I have is that a lot of the robots, I do the same kind of thing where I have like one knee up and then thing, kind of like the Arc Infinity totally does this. A lot of my robots have like the same pose where I go like one knee. And it's also Excelgon's also like in a one knee up like running pose. I don't really know what else to do with this guy. See if I can... Kind of get like that bottom view from him. I wonder how much Emerson Tongue charges per hour. If I ever make another robot game, I'm just gonna have Emerson and Tongue do all the damn art. Maybe Emerson Tongue can do our Gen Con promo this year. How cool would that be? I'll just have him draw this robot that I'm drawing right now, and that'll be the Gen Con promo this year. Emerson, I drew a robot that's kind of like one of the robots that you drew. Can you draw it? For the record, though, I totally designed this robot, like the sketch on the left, years before I even knew who Emerson Tongue was. See if I can still maintain like this bottom. Let's see if I at least get some perspective on him. So it's not just like a guy standing there and saying hi with his giant up and mitt phallic fist. Alright, let's see. This arm will probably be mostly a silhouette. So let's make it like this. That's not how perspective works. Oh, I know how to do perspective. Use the perspective tool. I don't know. Oops. My computer's freaking out. Stretch. Okay. Machine head. Machine head. Your poses are from below reads. These are supposed to be giant bots, but if you consider changing the perspective, you have a wider range of dynamic poses from below. Yeah. Drawing from different perspectives would probably be good. That's actually, most of them are from above. Especially for the smaller, for level 1 robots, a lot of them are from above or dead on. Like, a lot of my poses are from dead on. It's very hard for me to draw from crazy perspectives. Because I've always been more of, traditionally I've been more of a designer. 1 minute, I have a phone call. What would how do I answer that without muting myself? 1 minute, I'll reduce. And I think this is about it. Okay, cool. I have returned. Alright, see you later. Very good. Thank you for joining us for the stream. Let's see if I can do some... In general, I just need to do some perspective practice. This is interesting. There was a period in my life where I thought I would never draw again. Now I have to know how to draw again. Drawing's hard. But it's good because I enjoy it. Yeah, adding an extra joint to the adding an extra joint to the giant fists. Maybe I could do that. But then I'm worried it'll take away from the fact that they're actually just giant missiles attached to its elbows. Control T. I mean, I could maybe draw one of them launching off. Like, these things are basically like the giant missiles that are on the back of Giant Robo, for anyone who's ever seen Giant Robo. I think that's what like these are mainly inspired by. Things are like, this thing in general is kind of like a giant robo, but it flies. I want there to be like rivets and seams. Almost like this Emerson tongue piece. So I got the design down. Got pose. Looks like he's just like flying through the air and he's gonna give you a giant missile hug. Hug robot. Actually, what is this? It's like, or either that or he's just being like, come at me. And then he's more like, you fucking what? I want to give him like kind of actual like bird feel, like that, kind of like in the, kind of like an Emerson Tongues art. That'd be kind of cool. Make it distinct. Okay. Sometimes the intention behind level 3 and higher flying robots is that they never land anyway. Their legs are kind of there for other purposes. These level 3 or 4 robots, I guess they only exist for probably like a few minutes or a few hours at a time before ending up splitting up into smaller dudes. Where the hell they need to land for? God. So I'm assuming there are definitely some robots that stay merged for longer though, depending on their distinct compatibility or not. They're kind of like Digimon in that way. Some will grow over time and stay huge, where others split up pretty immediately. There are minor power boosts. We have it like spewing fire, just about. You fucking what, mate? I don't even know the meaning of that phrase. I don't mean to appropriate Australian culture. Yeah, launch towers. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess the robots are like gems in Steven Universe. Or if the robots are really, really friendly with each other, then they can stay merged for a longer time. But yeah, this guy is supposed to just be like giant, meaty rocket fists. He's gonna shoot and go boom. Let's see here. Isn't this relaxing? A Saturday, or what day is it? It is a Sunday afternoon with breeze. Drawing robots. Is there any other meaning to life than this one moment, this 1 second? Here. I'll do the hood here a little bit. But yeah, he just like hovers. I think like what all this robot does is he like hovers over like another robot or a city or something, and he just like his arms just detach, and it goes like, and then like the bombs drop, and he just does like boom, boom, boom. Now, if only there was a mechanic in the game that only allowed him to do this attack twice. I'm sure we could be creative if we really wanted to be. So let's see. Having this leg kind of overlap and kind of have at least some perspective on him is good. That's the secret I learned from the internet. If things overlap, your stuff looks more dynamic. The fucking what, mate? Okay, it's kind of awesome actually. I guess the other problem is now we just don't want his art to overshadow the Excelligons. Because the Excelligon's supposed to be the coolest. But alright. Let's see. What do you think here? Alright, let's see. I think this guy's looking pretty legit. So we succeeded in what I wanted to do today pretty much. Even though I'll slap some color underneath the lines and call today a victory in terms of art. Like this part is the hardest part, getting a decent silhouette, a decent design down, and the rest is just like staring into the black abyss, making layers and making lines and stuff. So let's see let's get down the general That's weird. Oh, I have multiplier. It's mostly centered in blue. Like a really muted red. Won't be too pink. Where the arms go. Probably gonna be really ugly. Yeah, this guy have red accents. Is what he will have. Be a lot of blue, some green, and tertiary red. That's kind of like how the color schemes usually go. It's the robot's namesake makes up the most of the color, or the prominent features are that color, and then you get to the secondary color, which is the secondary, perhaps the secondary namesake or whatever, and then the third color is the type that matters least to the robot. So this one specifically is an L. It's an AEG type, but it's mostly centered around the ELL parts, mechanically and visually. So it'll be red and blue. The red parts will be the most not findable, or the accents. I mean, mostly this blue color. And then the green will be the major parts that are green, aka the giant missiles. Like his kneecaps green, I guess. And his legs in general green. And finally, you take the little L to the left, and you add an A type to him, you get these red legs. Where else did the legs come from? And we'll take some gray. Every robot's gonna have some neutral gray. This will give you a pretty good idea where this robot is heading visually. That's where the turbine will be, and then go back to this. Clear up some stuff. Reclipping this. Darken 50%. And a little bit of cleanup. Yeah. Seems good to me. Alright, so let's see. There's your concept art for the new AEG robot. Look forward to. I'll either finish this off camera, or maybe I'll finish it in subsequent streams. But this is currently good enough. Like, we have our pipeline illustrations, don't have to be done until the end of August. Ideally, we want all the illustration work for the game to be done by end of August. So getting the ideas down is the hardest part. The rendering is the fastest. Let's see. So yeah, I'll probably polish them up like a bit more. Stuff like this guy will, for the Gen Con press of cards, which we'll have, well, in the tabletop sim press of cards or whatever, we'll probably have some placeholder art, and I want at least to make it look kind of presentable. So like this guy's placeholder art will probably be this file right here, but it'll make it look better. It won't be the final art though, unless I really decide to, unless I really get sucked into a rendering Yeah, still one of these days, I'm just gonna finish this robot right now, which might happen. But yeah, you'll be seeing this guy in Tabletop Simulator demo and the print and play, and physically on cards at Gen Con if you were at Gen Con. That is the idea. Merge with a G-type, and then the G-type just becomes giant rocket hand of destruction. Really silly, but whatever. How's it going? Hey 3-2, how you doing? The vents on his top. Which vents? What vents? Sunday. Gonna fight some robots. His legs work. Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, that's right. Game of Thrones is the thing that people still watch. That's like so 2012 or whenever that show premiered. Right. Where I keep getting caught in this black hole of adjusting line layers that I'm probably not going to keep. Let's call it for today. I don't know if I can keep this hood thing from the original sketch. I'll figure it out. Alright. Yes. Alright, I am going to sign off so I can eat. Stay tuned for Wednesday, where we're gonna have more robot mayhem. And I'm very happy overall with how this jerk turned out. So it's a good day. Whoops. I'll put some highlights on it. Oh my god. Alright. Let's see. Alright, I'm peacing out, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, Wednesday, more playtests, getting the game done. Progress. Alright, let's keep speeding along. Have a good rest of your weekend.